Hey there, fellow drama addicts and scatterbrained K-drama lovers. Welcome to the second episode of the Focus and Play. Okay, one more time. Hey there, fellow.
This can't be real life. What is happening?
Hey there, fellow dramatics and scatterbrained K-drama lovers. Welcome to the second episode of the Focus and Flair podcast. Woohoo! The podcast where we unravel the irresistible world of Korean dramas through the beautifully chaotic lens of ADHD. I'm Mimi, your ADHD navigator, here to make you laugh, relate, and embrace the whirlwind of our K-drama obsession. And I'm here with
Hey, it's Mike. I'm here to, just be a co-star to this beautiful introduction that she just created. I mean, beautifully crafted. One day I'm going to get in the Google Doc and write something out, and I'm going to have something just as good to say?
Yes, sir, he sure is. So buckle up, grab your popcorn, and let's dive into this hilarious adventure today. In today's episode, we're diving deep. We're diving deep into the world of K-drama second leads and exploring how our ADHD minds have a unique perspective on these unforgettable characters. I made the little diving deep pun because today and all this week, it has been filled with news of this submarine situation. Mike, have you heard about this?
Yeah, of course I heard about it. I mean, I I'm not trying to sound like morbid or obviously I'm the type of person where well, you don't know me, but I'm not trying to be, like a Debbie Downer or like to be like passive on something that's very sad because they're probably, based on where we're at in the time of day, it's looking pretty grim and.
Well, let me give the background of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So earlier this week, these billionaires, I mean, I'm pretty sure they were all billionaires. They went on
They were all
Jimmy rigged, wealthy. These wealthy individuals went on a Jimmy rigged submarine. I call it Jimmy rig. My family be calling it Mickey Mouse. Have you ever heard of that? When somebody
No, but I feel like I understand why it's Jimmy too because I've heard people say you jimmied something. Like
yeah.
I have heard that, and I think I'm gonna Google that. You keep going.
But they got on, one of their friends made this Jimmy rigged submarine to go see the Titanic. Well, they're getting a real life adventure of the Titanic because they're currently stuck at the bottom of the ocean. In this submarine, they've been down there 5 days now, 4 days.
Mariah, there's three. There's Jerry, and Jimmy.
Michael, focus.
Oh.
And so they've been down there for some time, and yeah, it's looking pretty bad for them because they only had a certain amount of oxygen. I don't even think they had a CO2 scrubber. I know when I was watching the Coast Guard, they mentioned that there was a possibility they could still be alive, but I'm pretty sure that's done for. One thing I would say,
don't you bring up the documentary.
I wasn't. I was gonna say Logitech, y'all need to get out here and y'all need to make a statement. It is looking bad for y'all right now.
Looking like 50 Cent. Fuck me. What I do? Like
Logitech.
Because Logitech said we make this for games.
Logitech is not a game. Getting so many stray bullets right now, like because the guy.
This is one of those situations where it's like when you go to the zoo and you see that guy jump over the cage with the lions. Why the fuck would you think that lion is like? This is not the guy of the ocean is not to be played with by Logitech controllers. That's an off-brand PlayStation controller.
The guy who took them down in the bottom of the ocean was using a Logitech game controller to guide the ship. And the issue is that people are making fun of the Logitech game controller. And I'm like, Logitech, y'all need to say something. People is calling y'all's device all types of ghetto bootleg, you know.
It is. And they know that when they made it. It's a bootleg PlayStation controller.
They calling it an Amazon knockoff. Like,
it is all of those things, which is why he shouldn't have went to Camp World and Amazon to get it. Why would you? You know what? Even the interviewer before they went underwater was chuckling at him. Told him, you jerry rigged this. He read the statement by, submarine protocols talking about some, you probably shouldn't be going down there. And he just laughed it off.
They were told so many times that this was a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. And they still did it. And I'm telling you right now,
intelligence with money.
No, you should never equate intelligence with money. But I'm telling you right now, if they make it out of this, they better be paying some taxes, because we pay for this Coast Guard that's saving them. And if they make it out of this, they need to be ready to pay up. This saving ain't going to be for free. But it looks like they're not even going to make it anyway, so it don't really matter. But
I mean, it matters to. I mean, I can't even say it matters to the family, because one of the children was at a Blink-182 concert.
No,
Blink-182.
I did not know that one of the kids was at a Blink-182 concert.
Yes, whooping and hollering. Cardi B had a whole Instagram video about it. She said, "I'd rather not be rich if my own children would be at a Blink-182 concert." And hollering. She said, "Can you imagine
going to see Travis Barker?" Man, that sounds like some real Succession type stuff, but. Anyways,
I would say that I would agree with that if it wasn't for
Michael, your audio went out.
Oh, did it really?
Or did it go out on my end? I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh no, I don't know. Should I keep talking? Can you hear me?
Yes, keep going.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a Succession moment, because they clearly did this to themselves. I would have took one look at those Dell laptops and said, I don't think I'm not gonna get on this. Did you see those construction pipes that he stole off a construction site to put on that submarine?
I was just saying, when I said Succession, I meant in terms of like how they don't really care about, until their father died, they didn't care about their father. But
probably.
But what would you say? Oh yeah, the construction, it was just a hot mess, and they're bolted inside. So even if they do get lifted up, you still got to unbolt them from the inside of the. And I feel bad for the guy who took his 19-year-old son down there, because
he didn't know no better.
He literally is the reason his young child is going to die. But it is what it is. Don't equate wealth with intellect, because they are not rooted in the same things.
And the problem is, you hear the word 2 miles and you think, that's not that bad. But then you realize that giant squids don't even go that far down.
Yeah, all that pressure on them.
Things that live in the ocean don't even go that far down.
Like they're done for. They're done for. But anyways, let's go ahead. Let's jump into our topic about the second male leads. Mike and I are so excited for this episode, because when we were workshopping this, we thought of so many good second leads, not just second male leads, but also second female lead that we're gonna talk about as well. So before we get into it, let's talk about what makes for a good second love interest, a second male lead. Well, Mike, what do you think makes for a good second male lead?
So I feel like there's like the general what makes a good second male lead, is like depending on like what you're going there for, but then also there's like what we go in there for. So I find a good second male or female lead to be like the person that I really believe would be a good counterpart for the main actor or actress. Now, some people, like, they want it to be an easy shoe-in, so they want the second male lead or second female lead to be like horrible. Like, okay, what's the show that we're watching right now with the weather?
Forecasting Love and Weather. Oh my gosh, I wish we would have talked about that in pre-production.
So yeah, because those the second male lead and the second female lead are actually horrible, which make the romance between the main two much better. Whereas for us, I feel like even though it's a great story and like it's very, I prefer a story that's similar to like, Love Alarm, or like the
We'll
main
talk
character
about
could
Love
really be
Alarm.
with both of them.
I prefer, so for me, I feel like the second male lead, I feel like they try so hard to make the second male lead or the second female lead seem, they're too much of a foil for me sometimes. Like, um, I'm trying to think of a show now. You didn't use one of mine, and the other two we're saving for later. But I feel like they always make the second male lead like the less toxic version of the first male lead. There's this show called Nevertheless, where the first male lead, speaking of Forecasting Love and Weather, Nevertheless also has Song Kang in it, who is delectable, to say the least. That's a good looking boy. I'm telling you right now, if the American economic, or if the American capitalistic system got a hold of him, like he's a good looking boy. But
Who did we used to
in
say that about too? Bright from
Bright, oh my gosh,
Shadow
if Bright came to America, he would
White.
be but no, like I feel like in like Nevertheless, the second male lead was way less toxic than the first male lead, but you always kind of knew that the girl was going to get with the first male lead. I feel like they always try to like make it a less toxic version or the foil to the first male lead. They kind of like point out the flaws in the first male lead.
Which one do you prefer though, like personally, when you're watching it?
I usually always find myself gravitating towards the first male lead, because I know that's who, despite for a few shows, I usually know that's who they're gonna get with. So I don't want to set myself up for disappointment. And we'll talk about the two shows where we were both kind of like, what the, they chose the second. But anyways, yeah, for
Spoiler
me,
alert! If at certain points of it, we are going to do some spoilers. So,
oh yeah, definitely some spoilers. Spoilers for Doctor Stranger. Spoilers for Love Alarm. Um, just spoilers all around. And then now one of the few shows where I really did enjoy the first male lead over the second male lead was Strong Woman Do Bong Soon. The first male lead, the way that he just swoons for her, and the way that the second male lead, he just really treated her like she was so weak, and it just kind of annoyed me. But she also played into that whole being weak thing, even though she
played
was
into it. She convinced him of it. Like they know, played into it. She convinced him of it. But at the same time, I agree with you. I preferred. That's one of the shows where I agree. I did not like the second male lead like that.
Yeah, that's one of the few times, because he really wasn't the foil to the first male lead. It felt like the first male lead was the foil to him. Now, I do want to go back to Forecasting Love and Weather, because what a crazy story. If you have ADHD, Forecasting Love and Weather is such a good show for you, because sometimes it's about weather.
Appreciate the weather. I appreciate weather people.
The weather storyline. Yeah. Oh no, the weather storyline is good.
Wow. Like I didn't even know that much goes into it. Wow. Respect to anybody who has to do journalism around weather.
Right. Or whoever has to do the forecast, any meteorologist, because it seems so you cannot mess up.
Oh,
like
and
whatsoever.
I never thought about it, but like if I actually watched the news for the weather instead of looking at my phone for the weather app, and I saw one of those jokers on a bad day where I didn't bring my umbrella, I probably would verbally accost them. Hey, like they probably can't go out without getting like, you was wrong about the weather again. I bet you they probably.
Oh my God! I guess your head is up in the clouds, huh?
It can't be. It can't be, because if it was, you would have told me to bring my umbrella. So they probably get a lot.
Yeah, it must. I shout out to any meteorologist out there. I doubt they're watching this, but but no, Forecasting Love and Weather. I do want to go back to the second couple, because the second couple is kind of like the second male lead and second female lead to the main characters,
They
because
are. They're literally
because
the
the
exes.
second male, they're exes. The second male lead and the second female lead actually are together, and they make the first male lead and the first female lead look better by comparison. They're the foils to that coupling.
Which is wild because we haven't even finished it, but like they mirror
do we need to
each
finish
other.
it? I feel like we've seen everything that we want to see.
No, we need to finish it
because all that's left is heartbreak.
You always say this right when we get to this part of it every
Okay,
time.
we'll finish it. Matter of fact, we're gonna finish it next week. I'll let you know if there's more heartbreak to come, you guys. I'll let you know if Mike is wrong.
Always pause. You always pause the last 3 or 4 episodes because they gotta give us one little 1-2 before they end up happy or miserable for the rest of the show. But we can't ever get there because you always quit right here.
What is the other show that we were talking about, the second male lead and the second female lead? Is it the one I Married the Anti-Fan?
Mm-hmm.
Remember his ex-girlfriend and his ex-best friend, they wind up dating?
Oh, yeah.
You don't remember that show?
I remember the show, but when I tell you they barely touched on the second female lead, second male lead, like, were they even like a thing like that? Like, I feel like, because she didn't really have a romance outside of the main character.
No, but she kept trying to get with the first male lead in that show.
And I Married the Anti-Fan?
Yeah, I Married the Anti-Fan, the girl who was the 27-year-old rookie. Or she was a 27-year-old trainee, still trying to make it in the music industry. But she was dating a man who was a CEO of his own company. Girl, hang it up.
No, I thought you was talking about the main actress was going after somebody. No, the second female lead was annoying.
No, but remember the second male lead was trying to get at the first female lead.
For a little bit, yeah. And they actually had, but he betrayed her to get, he betrayed her to get at him. Yeah.
Well, that's another show we haven't finished because we're at the last 3 or 4 episodes. And I just know there's going to be unnecessary anguish.
But I want there to be a common theme here, y'all. When we're watching the show together, I don't watch it. I don't finish without her. But if she gets on a cliffhanger and she wants to finish the show, she's going to blow through that mess. She's watched so many shows without me. I got to let the people know.
This is what we doing.
This is what we do. We want them to get to know us, and I want them to see us.
But you exposing me.
You can expose me. You can expose me as the victim.
That's not the point. That's not the point at all.
It's me.
That's not the point, Michael. Anyways. So we've already kind of given y'all a rundown of what we think of the leads, right? So let's go ahead. Let's talk about some more. Or what was the next part that I said we was gonna do? Our most memorable some of our favorite second male leads.
Well, my number one is Love Alarm for me.
Love Alarm, that we saving that.
Okay. So we're saving that for later. Okay, so
we're gonna talk about the third part of the episode.
Beauty, second male.
Wait, but the third part of the episode, we're gonna talk about times where the second male lead really was a lot better than the first male lead. Like,
well, this is gonna intersect for me, these conversations. So I don't know what you want me to do here.
Okay, but let's go ahead. Let's talk about True Beauty and the fine ass second male lead they had on that show. Oh my goodness. Sejun.
Yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce his real name. It's like Huang In.
You know how old he is?
He's our age. He's 32.
Hey.
Oh, well, you're going to have to edit that out. I done said it. He older than me.
Hey.
He older than me.
He older than me too.
Barely. You're going to edit it all out. So I might as well say what I want to say. They could Facebook us, and the fact that I just said that dates us right there.
So let's talk about the fine ass second male lead in True Beauty, Sejun. It was either you was gonna be Team Sejun or you
I
was
don't see
gonna
how
be
you just weren't Team Sejun. He literally was perfect for her. And let's talk.
when we
really should
talking
be talking about
about
how
Cha
perfect
Eun-woo.
Cha Eun-woo was great. Suho was
I was
great.
Team Suho. Team Suho. I thought Suho
Let me
was
tell you
just
something.
perfect for her.
That had the best cast of everybody. Outside of Sujin, she honestly was the fucking worst. But outside of her, everybody, her older sister.
Oh yeah. Wait, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about what's the main character's name?
She was
Ju Kyung.
amazing.
What was her name in the show? Ju Kyung.
I can't remember. Look it up.
Ju Kyung was her name. Okay, hold up. Yeah, that's what it says right here. I'm probably saying it wrong because I don't speak Korean.
I
Which
thought she
I'm gonna
was
start learning.
hilarious in that show.
Especially the
I didn't
beginning
like her
of that
friend.
show. None of her friends. That's who I'm talking about. Her friend was
Oh yeah, the friend who also liked Suho.
yes,
Now they
who,
didn't have to do her like that. She was actually.
she was a great
Why
friend
did they
until
do
she
that to
wasn't.
her?
She
Yeah,
was
she
a
was a great
great
friend
friend
until
until
she
she
wasn't.
wasn't.
Why
That
did
was
they do
Sujin.
her character
Sujin was
like
the
that?
friend. So
Sujin.
there was Su-ah, who was her friend, and Sujin. There
Sua.
was So Su-ah is the one who ditched her when she just was like, "Oh, why didn't you tell me that you were ugly?" Which is like, what? Like,
Bitch, you were ugly this whole time.
You could have
Are you
told me.
kidding me?
You could have told me he was fucking ugly. And that was the other thing
You're
that bothered me.
ugly, really?
The
Really,
other
you're
thing that
ugly. I
bothered me
had to
was
find out from your former bullies that you were ugly.
get some
Ugh.
skincare. Like, you could have cleaned. That's all you needed. You were never ugly. Skincare was all she needed.
Skincare really was all she needed. She was tall, she was thin, she had great hair, and she had a really pretty face shape. She had a nice nose. She really only needed the acne cream and some contact lenses. She was a cute girl. I don't know why
For
they
the sake
made
of the
such a
show,
big
we'll
deal about her
agree.
having some acne.
Now, Hee-kyung, her sister, and that teacher, I loved their relationship now.
They had a really fun relationship, and I loved that aspect of the show. But they did kind of throw in some unnecessary heartache in there, but it was still a really cute show. They even tried to throw in a little love triangle for them too. Remember with the other teacher?
Yeah. The part that I didn't like was where like he had to disappear for that period towards the end. I was like, dang.
Yeah, that was kind of
unnecessary. But what I will say,
I guess because
like,
his father was sick and all.
Well, I'm trying not to give too many spoilers.
Oh, okay.
But
you
fair,
know what, we
there's
did
not
talk about
many
this last
dramas
week.
where your dad isn't going to be sick.
We did talk about this last week. Last week, if you're a K-drama parent, something bad is going to happen to you. Something
don't let
bad.
you be a grandparent.
Oh God! Don't let you be a wise grandparent.
You out.
Because you out of here. You out of here. Sorry about that.
Back to the second male lead part. Yeah, the second male lead.
Or a wise grandparent that sacrifices it all at the last second. Sorry, go ahead.
Male lead.
Yes, back to second male leads. Go ahead.
The second male lead in that show, I mean, not only were they like actually their chemistry was great, he also protected her in different ways as well. But what I thought was the bigger element that I felt like was completely not really talked about was the fact that their families even meshed very well. Like, she was already like making friends with the little sister. She was already
and her brother liked his. I mean, her brother liked his little sister.
Yeah, that probably would have made it weird, but
didn't they wind up getting together?
Yeah, that's why I said it would have ended up weird, because if the second male lead and the first female lead got together, and then also the little brother and little sister got together.
Oh yeah, that would have been a little odd.
Taboo.
That would have been a little creepy.
I mean, then what are related?
But didn't they get together at the end for a little bit? Or no, they were going to go on a date and they never got to go on
Made
that
her
date.
go on a date with her, and on the very last date, he took her to Uwu. He was perfect for her. He genuinely cared about her, and it was just that he was the perfect example of a. What are you looking at,
John?
Let him live his life. That's his house too.
It is his house, but I got ADHD. I'm distracted. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, but you wanted him to know he was distracted too. You could have did a little 2-second distraction.
Michael, please go ahead. So we talked about True Beauty.
Yes. Who else is a second male lead that outside of Lovable?
Oh, Dr. Stranger. That was a second male lead that I did not see coming. Well, is she considered the second male lead? Yeah, because so Dr. Stranger, there was two
really
female characters.
That starts with, Lee Jung-suk. Again, we talked about in the last episode. He's one of the great acts of Korea. And he's with IU. I wonder how they doing.
Congrats to him for that, by the way. Like he pulled a bad one. He pulled a bad D. Good. A round of applause. Round of applause. I wonder who's going to snatch up Cha Eun-woo.
We're not going to find out for another 10 years because they're not going to. That's not happening.
I feel like he got the makings to become the next big thing.
The next big thing. Like, I don't think, what do they call him? The face?
The face genius.
What kind of nickname is that? Like, that kind of nickname, yeah, you're gonna be the next Lee Jung-suk. Like, that's it.
He's done a movie with him. Did you know that?
Yeah, I wish I could
have seen a submarine movie. It's a submarine movie.
I bet you that one didn't sink. I didn't even say that. I'm sorry.
I don't know if it did or didn't sink. That's a good one, though.
I'm so sorry. But I do genuinely feel like if you got in that submarine, it was like you were kissing yourself goodbye.
If you really thought getting on that submarine was a good idea, you read that waiver.
They knew they read that waiver for hours. When he said, take off your shoes, the fuck am I taking off my shoes for?
And think about how cold it is down there. It's like you went down there in practically like a refrigerator. Like, it has to be cold.
I bet you that shit was
and I'm pretty sure they're in the dark too.
Half a mile down. I bet you that shit was south half a mile down.
That thing got in the water.
Think about it. If you're a rich person and you no, because they probably shut up for a little bit because it's like, you ain't gonna let me beat up. I ain't gonna be the first one to bitch. I ain't gonna be the first one to bitch out. But they're billionaires. They're not used to discomfort to that level. So I imagine as soon as they got maybe a half a mile down, one of them went. Y'all cold? You don't take me back up.
I get a little chilly in here. Look, they sitting like this. Get a little chilly in here.
They said, take me back up. I don't. And then he's sitting there with his controller. No, everything's fine. You don't have to. And he's sitting there trying to get the controller to work. And next to the battery's dead. Battery's dead. Half a mile. Because then if you watch the video, Mariah, he said, and there's only one button. Click that one little fucking button. I'm like, what do you mean you only got one fucking button? Where's the rest of the buttons? Where's the SOS? Where's the communications? Where's
you wanted a thrill so bad. You got your fucking thrill now. You got your thrill now, buddy. You wanted to be thrilled. You wanted a thrill. You got your thrill.
And to know, to be some of your last thoughts. And I wonder if they probably didn't think about this, but damn, people gonna be laughing at us about this shit.
Yeah, they probably didn't think about that. I know that wouldn't be on my mind.
There's no way I'd have got on that shit. There's nothing you could. I don't care how rich I get. There's nothing that would have made me be that uncomfortable.
For me, it would have been when he took out the cartridge on the video game controller and blew in it. You know what I'm saying? To get it to go again. That would have been it for me.
We're gonna get
when people started using the word Jimmy rig. When people started using the word jerry rig, that's when I would have said, you know what?
You say you doing what?
I didn't work too. Look, I didn't work too hard.
That's why I'm telling you.
I don't work too hard.
Rich, you cannot believe anything that rich people say because he clearly did not work that hard. Because anybody who worked that fucking hard, I bet you Tyler Perry wouldn't do no shit like that. He went from homeless, worked his ass off to become a billionaire and get BET and VH1. You think his ass gonna get on that fucking thing with Jeff Bezos and them up in space? Hell no. I worked too damn hard to blow up.
Some sacrifices just ain't worth it. Some things you don't need to survive. And you know what? Back to the K drama and the Chow Wu of it all.
Everybody
even in that submarine movie, they don't go a whole 2 miles down.
Because you're not supposed to.
Even in that submarine, please go watch that movie. It's actually a pretty good movie, y'all, with Chow Wu and who else is in that? Lee Jung Suk. But no, Lee Jung Suk. First off, I don't think you could really ever make Lee Jung Suk a convincing second male lead. Now, there is a show where Cha Eun-woo has been a second male lead, but I'm telling you right now,
I can see that.
I don't know he's been a second male lead.
Cha Eun-woo be a second male lead. I can see why someone would say as a second male lead, like as a first female lead, why would you choose the first male, like when the second one is right there? I can see that. But I would still believe that child movie second round. Lee Jung Suk, it's like
he was going to be a lead actor.
Yeah,
he had that in his. He was always going to be a lead actor.
Just the way he looks, it's also the way he carries himself. He don't carry himself like someone who could be a co-star. Like it's not. Like, can you imagine Denzel Washington saying, "Oh, I'll co-star in this movie"? No, even the movies that Denzel Washington has co-starred, it don't feel like it.
No,
it don't feel like it.
Lee Jung Suk is just a natural scene stealer. So in Doctor Stranger, though, obviously he was the one doing the choosing, which makes sense, right? He's the one doing the choosing.
He chose wrong.
Oh yeah, now in Doctor Stranger, he 1000% chose wrong. He went back to that North Korean girl.
He chose her because, like, you know, on one end, Mariah, to play devil's advocate, even though I know the devil don't
need an advocate.
I knew he was gonna say that. But if I had sacrificed so fucking much just to get that woman back alive,
when she was shot into the water, I didn't sacrifice enough. I didn't sacrifice it. I can't save you.
But I'm saying after all that,
Tubman would have let her go too.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, but when it presented itself that it was still her, I could see him going like, "Damn, I'm gonna stick beside her. Is this your woman? Mm-hmm. That's it. You know, like what? Where are you going?
I had to turn up my lights. It's getting dark here. Go ahead. Let's start over.
Start over what?
Dr. Philgo, is that your girl?
I can't say that joke again, Mariah.
I gotta do it for editing purposes.
Okay.
He still chose that woman from North Korea. He then tried to save her time and time again, then lost his daddy behind her.
Now, let me tell you what would have been what made me not choose her for real.
What?
When she played in my fucking face and acted like she was fucking somebody else. That's what I would have been like.
Girl.
I'd have put her into one of the little doctor cabinets and I'd have been like, You got two
You
fucking
think
seconds to tell me some truth. It reminds me. I imagine that's exactly how, you know, Joseph felt when Mary said she was pregnant.
you gonna stop playing in my face now?
You tell me right.
You gonna stop playing
Then.
in my face?
Even
You think I
God
don't know who
knew.
you are?
Even God knew to send a second angel behind that, because you're not just gonna bullshit me like that and say you're
Woman, I didn't sacrifice my life to save you. I
riding a
had to
bike.
mastermind my way out of North Korea to get you out of there with me. And you going to sit up here and play in my face like that?
We're both free here.
We're both free.
We could
What are you
collude
doing?
together. You know I'm
You
for
are so
you.
right, Michael. The more I think about it, the more I'm
That's when
like,
I'd have threw her away.
he should have chose that doctor woman, man.
Because
To
she
this day, I
loved
believe
him.
he should have.
She loved him.
She ain't deserved that.
Mm-mm.
She ain't
She didn't
deserve that.
deserve
Imagine getting played by your man's high school sweetheart. That's so messed up. That's so messed up. That's one of those
they
second
trauma
male.
bonded.
That's one of those second leads that I really could have done without. And I did feel like there was a part in the show where they stopped focusing on the romance and you got to more so focus on the doctor aspect. And I didn't mind that as much.
That's when I was really rooting for the second female lead. I was like, yeah,
yes,
they're really grinding together. They're trying to make this hospital work.
It felt like he was going to choose her. That's when she became the first female lead, the first, lead. And then
I never wanted the first female lead to stay going like that. Maybe the first male lead, but never the first female lead. But that was
come on, Dr. Stranger, give us a season 2. Let us write it. We'll fix it for you. You know what I'm saying? We'll fix the show for you. I could tell you how that show was supposed to end.
Play the second female lead, and we'll have it right.
we could rewrite that show for you. Because one, I already know once they got together, that relationship wasn't going to last. He was already working all types of crazy hours at the hospital.
Didn't they go back to like they didn't go back to North Korea, but didn't they like go to the middle of nowhere? Like I don't remember what they.
I don't remember.
It was very unsatisfying. That's what I recall. It was not satisfying.
And it was a lot of episodes for that show too.
Yeah, and I really was just watching it. It was a thriller and it was good. So I was like, oh, this is good. Still such good action. But I really just want one stray bullet to just get her, so that he goes back to the second female lead.
If she could, Michael, if she could fight off the first stray bullet and land in the water and not drown to death.
Plot armor. That woman had so much. She had so much plot armor around her. Nothing could take her out. A nuclear strike wouldn't have took her out. Because how am I still looking at her?
She was already sick. Didn't she have cancer? What did she have? She was sick.
Oh no.
She was sick with cancer. She got hit with a bullet and she landed in the water. Should have drowned dead. And she somehow still managed to live. You think any little bullet was going to take another little stray bullet was going to take her out? If you want to talk about Teflon Don, that woman was a Teflon Don. Nothing was going to hurt her.
I'll never forgive that. Like, that was too much.
She didn't even end up with a broken heart.
She didn't have a heart. Because she sat there every day lying to that man's face. She went home at night. That's the part that also bothered me, because, they never talk about
she
that
was
part.
Able to sleep
24 hours in a day. You don't work at the hospital the whole time. So she was going home, living a life in South Korea that she never lived, and was like, I don't know that nigga. That's the part that really bothers me. Like, she had all that time to actually tell me.
I've never seen this man a day in my life.
What did you say? Sorry to this man.
I wish we tried to practice their names before we got on here. It didn't stick. Sorry about that. But you know who we talking about. If you ain't seen Doctor Strange yet, please go see it. Please go see that. And go
we
watch
didn't ruin
Pinocchio while you're
we
at it.
didn't ruin a single thing for you. Watch it.
Go watch Pinocchio while you at it. Another Lee Jung-suk classic.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Pinocchio,
Wasn't there a second male lead in that one? The rich boy.
No. And yeah, Pinocchio, it was what made it really good to me was like the just made up syndrome. Like that was probably one of the first K dramas. Like, oh, they just make up stuff. Because I actually looked that up. I was like, is that a real thing? Like a person who can't not tell the truth? Like what kind of like what is that? And then like they just be making stuff up.
She
like
had Pinocchio syndrome.
Is not real. Like how do you just make up stuff? Like they just make up whole things. I love it.
That was odd. That was really odd now that I think. And I didn't even question it. At least you questioned it. I'm so stupid. I didn't even think to question that. I went with it. Oh my God, Pinocchio syndrome. Of course she got Pinocchio syndrome. Yeah. I was like, in my mind, I was like, well, you know, the medical term for it isn't Pinocchio syndrome. Sure, it's a real thing. I didn't question it one bit.
Oh, I questioned it hard because I'm sitting there, because I mean, like, I assumed it was real. I didn't think that people just make stuff up like that. But then I looked it up and I was like, oh, they just completely made that up. Like, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, damn, why is all this stuff happening in Korea? Like, what? But you know, you couldn't. This was when I watched Pinocchio, it was like around the same time that I watched like Flower Boys and Flower Boy Ramen Shop and stuff like that. They were all on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's get into it. Let's talk about the show with not one male lead, not two male leads, not three male leads.
Flower Boy Ramen
Let's talk about the show. Not Flower Boy Ramen Shop.
Which one?
Boys Over Flowers.
Oh, Boys Over Flowers. Yeesh.
Let's talk about the show with the four male leads.
There was only two men for her, but there was a whole.
No, the other guys was looking at her at one point too. All four of them looked at her at some point.
Only for a spell. The only one that looked at her for like a little bit was like Yi Jung. I think that was his name. There was Ji-hoo and Junpyo. Those two were her main ones, and I think some of them
and Junpyo. Yes, yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
Yeah, those two were only really looking at Jean D.
Can we talk about how? And maybe it's just me. I know Boys Over Flowers is a K drama. Who? Moonbin. Not Astro's Moonbin. Was he a little boy in the show?
Mariah, the show came out in 2014. He wasn't a little boy, but what? Who the fuck was he? He was So Yi Jung.
Okay. What'd that be?
That wasn't
Mike.
Oh, Moonbin was the younger version of it? Yo, you go right ahead, but you know, I found out about Moonbin. That's going. Keep going. I'm just going to keep
I'm waiting on you.
What you want me to say?
We was going to talk about Junpyo.
Okay, I'm done Googling. Okay. My ADHD was taking me on a whole nother level.
Let's talk about how bad a male lead.
ADHD is being hyper focused on something, and that was one of those moments. I was about to zone in. This whole podcast.
I mean, I gotta cut that out the show anyway because it was too much dead air.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, because that was just the way that I was so super focused on that thing was like crazy. I was about to Google and be gone. But go ahead.
So let's talk about how terrible of a first male lead Junpyo was, because the way that he was manhandling that girl was absolutely. He was putting his hands all on that girl.
He was chucking.
More than one girl. He was shaking women.
He
In that
was.
show, I did not like him. I did not, as
You
a
don't know when
male
I really
lead, I did
didn't like
not
him.
like him.
I just assumed that's how Korea was. I'm not even gonna lie. So I guess I didn't get offended by that. The part that tore me up is when he left her to dry. He let her out. He let that whole school mess her up.
What
And
a POS. What
and
a
that's
real
when I started
POS.
messing with Ji-hoon too, because at first I was like, oh, you know what, he's a better, he's rich too. Fuck it. Like, go with him. He at least there for you. He gonna protect you. But then even he left her to dry. What?
Both of those guys was just, just real pieces of work. That's what I did
All
not like
three of
about
them
that
were.
show.
Even because what was John D's best friend name? Well, her best friend, she fell for one of the guys too. Even he was horrible. The only one that wasn't was the hip hop one that was in love with white girls.
The one that was love with the white.
The two white girls he had brought at the beach.
And he had his English down. He said, baby, I'ma get me a blonde woman. That was hilarious. Nobody else. Nobody else can speak English as good as me. He said, oh, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I know who I'm looking for. No, the way that all those characters was doing her, but I just did not like Pio. The way that he was just shaking women. The girl who also liked him when they was in that hotel room, and the way he was shaking her, I said, Michael, I can't watch this. This big old man need to stop putting his hands on these women like this. Now, in the Thailand version of the show, they don't have all that. They cut that out because they knew it was going to be an issue.
Well, because Bright got a moment like that when one of his little shows. Remember when he grabbed that girl when he was
and he slapped.
I said, and I didn't know because I didn't finish the clip. You sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh wow, oh he can act. He's doing such a great job. I wonder how this is going to go." And you said, "Michael, I don't think that was romantic at all." And I was like, "What? Why not?" And then he's like,
"If I can find the clip, I'll insert it." But there is this clip of Bright in one show. I won't even watch the show, quite frankly. But I saw it on Instagram, and he was all up on this woman, and then all of a sudden you see him slap her, and I sent it to Mike.
And I, me, because I'm focusing on a million things. I just watched the part where they was like, they were just together, and it looked like a great embrace. And I was like, oh yeah, that looks great, Mariah. Maybe we should watch that. And you went, I don't know. That's very violent. I said, violent? What are you talking about? She said, Michael, he slapped her. I said, slapped? And then I went back and watched it, and it's like in the last 2 seconds of the clip. And he said, "Pow!" And I went, "Oh!"
If somebody knows what clip we're talking about, please.
Because that's also the problem with, we don't watch. We were very early into a lot of the stuff, so I didn't assume that like they do those kind of like dramas. I knew like when I first got into Korean dramas, I knew there was the K-drama like rom-com stuff, and then I knew there was like the time pieces where like they were all like the the ones where they go back in time and like old school like feudal era Korea. Mm-hmm. I didn't know there was like, which is silly. Of course they got their own versions of like they have regular TV shows like we have regular TV shows. Then there's K-dramas.
Yeah, it's this whole thing. And so let's talk about feudal Korea before we get out of here. Our last section talking about times where the second male lead was way better than the first male lead. One of our favorite shows, and this is going to be controversial, but we actually preferred in Extraordinary You. We preferred Baekhyun, right? Over Haru. Because let me tell you what was wrong with Haru. Haru did not learn his lesson from the first comic.
And he knew.
He knew.
What he wanted was so important that he almost risked the love of his life. He knew.
Again, for a second time. Now, was Haru absolutely breathtaking, gorgeous, just adorable?
And did he treat
Yes.
did he treat Dano the best? Yes. But when it came down to it,
Storyline
Baekhyun was
wise,
about Baekhyun was
Baekhyun
about
was one of those villains who made sense. He was
not
one
in
of
the
those
first
villains
comic,
who had a
in the
point.
second comic.
Yeah, not in the first comic, but in the second comic. Yes. Yes. And also, it was also because it was also like Boys Over Flowers with the comic book couple, the main couple, and Dano's friend. He was the second male lead, and obviously he didn't get the girl in the end. But um, it was such a shame how. Where was I going with that?
Mm-hmm.
I completely forgot. Never mind.
Well, what I will say about Extraordinary You was that it starts off so strong. Like it
It
starts
starts off
off.
so strong.
Wait, which show is it that True Beauty? The people in Extraordinary You end up being in True Beauty.
Yeah, in True Beauty. Yep.
True Beauty is way better than Extraordinary You. Like
True Beauty
not.
is ahead of its time, and I'm ashamed that it never. I'm so sad that show never got the flowers it deserved, but
Yeah.
it's so ahead of its time. But no, Extraordinary You. I feel like it had such a good beginning. It started off so funny, and then all of a sudden it just got so soul crushing. And that scene where the moment where Haru finally realized that he was repeating what had already happened, and he told Dano, I can't be there for your final scene. I wanted to jump through the screen and strangle him. You didn't set this girl up for a okey doke. Beckham was trying to tell you it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. He was trying to tell you to let it play out the way it was going to play out. And then you didn't have to leave Dano there by herself.
I also felt like there was just way too many plot holes. Like I feel like whoever wrote that show left like the biggest fucking holes. Like why did you even do like why did you make us live through all that sorrow at the end to give us a blip of happiness towards the end? Like why?
A literal blip.
It was just like, and don't get me wrong, it does not have a sad ending, but the ending is more sad than it is joyful. Like you don't really spend a lot of time enjoying the romance between these couples. And
And
so
now
they could
you
have kept
understand why
more
I
of
don't
the
like to
themes.
finish shows.
That's one of the shows where they could have kept us lit. If they were going to end it like that, they could have let us enjoy the good moments more. The good moments were so far in between because, again, the main actress was also sickly. So we barely got to enjoy. It was like, damn, you're sick. There's the plot of like what the writer's doing. Then there's like the issues
Which we
between
never
first
found out
male
who the
lead,
writer
second male
was.
lead, the real first male lead and second male lead. It's just there were so many things going on throughout that long show, and it's still a good show. Don't get me wrong; it's still worth watching. It's just like, dang, you could have let us enjoy the good moments while it lasted. I've watched shows where it ended with suicide, unfortunately, and like that, and let you
That's
enjoy
not
the
funny.
good moments though. I felt
That's
like
not funny.
why
I'm
did
sorry.
you? And it had such a good, like the editing was great, the acting was great, the characters had chemistry.
All the male characters
Balloon,
was tall as I don't know what.
yeah, like when I'm like 5'11 3/4. If you're taller than me, you're ridiculous. The only reason I'm very specific on that is because I just got weighed and like got my height done.
Oh,
And
okay,
I've
okay,
always been
okay.
like, oh, people usually tell me I'm 6 feet tall or 6'1", but then I just went here and it was like, oh, you're 5'11 3/4, ma'am. You could have just. I'm a quarter of an inch away. Come on, get out of here. But they're like
But they gotta be
6'3"
precise.
and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
every
like
every male character on that show was over
at
six
least six
two.
one.
Was over 6'1". Ridiculously tall characters. I think the only one who was short was the little squid fairy,
Yeah, and I
right?
think he was like 5'10", and that's not even short.
That isn't short.
That's an inch over the average male height. The average male is 5'9". The
Oh,
only person who
you
really was
know,
short was Dan O.
Oh yeah, Daniel. Which she what? I need to see some more shows with her. If anybody has any more recommendations with her in the show, she played the mess out of that show.
Yeah.
Extraordinary You. She sold me that show. She
You
was so
kept
perfect
talking
in that
about
show.
that woman's proportion so much in that show.
Oh my goodness. Her body was right. She was not no skinny mini. She looked good. She looked good. She carried herself so well. So well. Um but no, that's a really, really, really good show. And then I also
We're watering
another
down the way we
show.
actually talk about things when we're on the phone.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Look, I'm just trying to get the show successful first, and then we can really,
Then we'll let it.
um
Then
but I really love another show where I really, really could not stand, I guess, the first male lead, in which the character actually does end up with the second male lead. Freaking Love Alarm. Both of them. Both of them could really go to hell in a handbasket. Both the first male lead and the first female lead. Both of
well,
them
the
had no
problem with the
business.
first female lead,
They
her issues ended very early though. To be fair, she only was horrible to her first boyfriend. She was very inconsiderate when she did what she did, but it ended up. But I think for the plot and the commentary that I think the writer was going for, I really did like it. Like she basically, without giving away too much, she figured out a way to block herself from being, recognized as someone who's in love. Everybody else is in love with this like Tinder that tells
Oh
you
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
who like you. And she basically found a way to make herself not be available. And so what I really liked about Love Alarm was I think the commentary was really good about like what people think about love and who they're really in love. I thought they were going to find a flaw in the system. That's the part that kind of got me. It's like,
Yeah, I also thought they were going to find a flaw in the system, but
but I
I
think
just
the
really did not
flaw
like.
but the flaw really was the fact that the system was even there. Because if Love Alarm was still working for her, she never would have ended up with who she was supposed to end up with.
Yes,
She
the
would have
friend.
still been with the first male lead, and really, she shouldn't have. She should have like,
I
and the story
honestly,
was telling you
I
from the
thought they
beginning.
deserved each other. I did not like her. I could not I couldn't get past her belly aching. She was constantly belly aching. You know me, I love a strong female lead.
You
And when
do.
you belly aching like that, all she was insecure to me. She was constantly insecure, constantly doubting herself. And she was with a guy who, which Song Kang, you gotta get out of these types of roles, buddy. Don't you ever find yourself in another Love Alarm again, because you're gonna lose some fans. Look, you can't be playing roles like that, buddy. You gotta be the good guy. But
Because he ain't had no business doing what he did to his friend. And I'm not going to give you the spoiler, but when I tell you these people do not, in the very beginning, again, they were in high school, but you don't do that to
well, no,
family.
even when, because was they
Yeah.
were in high school in the second season,
No, in the second season, they was grown as hell. He
and
was
he
with,
was still doing the same old. This is why men don't deserve your respect. He was still doing, even out, he was still playing these childish games even once they got out of high school. He couldn't help himself. And he was dogging his best friend out like that,
it wasn't
all
even his
because
best
he
friend.
was the one with
His
money.
best friend was bad, but I also felt like, and I don't think they talked about it, I think he really dogged out his girlfriend. His girlfriend, who he had got with, he was
Oh
doing this
yeah, 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 yeah.
bad. Like you knew that you were still in love with old girl, and you just kept dog walking her. And then the gaslighting. Oh, I know the reason why you can't fall
The
in love with me is because of your
gaslighting.
accident. He couldn't fall in love with you because he'd been in love with somebody else for years. Lying.
Lying. I was so happy that she didn't get with him in the end. I know a lot of people felt like that show was a waste of time, but let me tell you something. If you
You
were
were
one
one of
of
those
those people,
people.
who me?
You said that to me when I was watching it by myself. Because you
at
watched that show
first.
without me.
I did watch Love Alarm without you. I didn't really think you'd like it. I remember that first episode. They do a lot of stuff in Love Alarm, and nevertheless, they do a lot of stuff in
I was
nevertheless
texting
too.
her at 3 a.m. because I couldn't stop watching that show. I can't believe. And then I remember at one point I said, and they kept giving you like little suicide warnings. I kept saying, I don't think this one character's gonna make it. And then I went, well, I was like, I don't think this one character's gonna make it. Well,
But no, I just, for me, look, I almost said semantic error. For me, Love Alarm is one of those shows.
Is there any second male lead in that?
No. Love Alarm is one of those shows where it's such a polarizing show. Either you gonna love it or you gonna hate it. It's so polarizing, and that's so rare in Korean shows, but it's so polarizing. There are so many shows in today's episode, so many second male leads, so many first male leads that we didn't even get to today, but hopefully you guys in the comments can tell us about some of your favorite second male leads, some of the ones we didn't talk about, some of the ones that you agree with on us, or even if you have, even if you disagree. So please drop in the comments what were your thoughts, and if you have any show recommendations, any episode recommendations. We're just getting started. We would love to hear some of your ideas. We would love to revisit the second male lead conversation. There's going to be more shows coming out, so please comment, like, subscribe. We really want to hear from you guys. Okay, so with that said, we're already at an hour. Mike and I are going to go ahead, get out of here for today. But before we go, I do want to make a little announcement. Tomorrow, in light of Pride, tomorrow we will be doing a special BL episode. So if you love BLs, we're not just going to talk about the Korean BLs. We're going to talk about the Thai BLs we watched.
All the different BLs that we watched.
So if you love boy love or if you love girl love, please make sure you tune in for tomorrow's episode. So that is going to be a really fun episode. I was already thinking about one of the shows that we're going to talk about, one of my absolute favorite BLs, Semantic Error. But yeah, so tomorrow's episode, please, or the next episode, look out for that. So before we get out of here, let me do my outro. And that's a wrap, fellow ADHDramatics. We've reached the end of this laughter-filled episode, and the K-drama and ADHD journey continues. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a moment of our hilarious adventures. Share your own funny stories, questions, and suggestions about second male leads in the comments below or on social media using the hashtag Focus and Flair. Remember, we're in this delightful chaos together. Until next time, keep binge watching, keep embracing your beautiful scattered minds, and keep spreading the joy of K-dramas. Remember to laugh. Remember to laugh, learn, and embrace your focus and flair.
You need to edit that last bit because, and I'm when you write it, because you sounded like one of the, like when you go into like certain white women's like houses and they have to live, love, laugh. That's what that sounded like.
Remember to laugh, learn, and embrace your focus and flair, you guys. I'm not changing that.
You really gonna keep that?
Remember to laugh, learn, and embrace your focus and flair. Bye.
Change it to a C because at least it'll be LLC.